Good evening. I hope everybody's okay. Welcome to Allthingsskyblue Presents, in my opinion, with Stuart. I hope everybody's well. If you've got any questions or anything that you want to ask me about Coventry City or about FPL or anything really, I suppose I can do shout outs for you. Feel free to come on and have a listen. Be much appreciated. Again, like I said, you can ask me questions. So just for those who don't know who I am, I'm part of All Things Sky Blue. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We are partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar. So if you like what you see, please like and subscribe on YouTube. We do podcasts as well. Everything that we do on YouTube and our social medias goes on to our podcasts as well, which you can find us on Spotify, Amazon and iTunes and things like that as well. So like I said, please like and subscribe if you like our content. As you can see in the corner, in that corner, it was World Mental Health Day yesterday, and we've got a podcast out and a YouTube video out for our very own Danny White that was struggling with gambling, but he is 5 years free of gambling. So it's a good couple of stories. There's a guy called Keith on there as well. Good couple of stories to listen to and hear their hardship, but they're through it. So congratulations on both them two. So come and join us. If you've got any comments or questions that you want to put to me, please add them in the comments and I'll read them out, any shout outs as well. So obviously there's one or two things that I'd like to talk about initially about Coventry City. First of all, set pieces. I think set pieces, people that listen to our Twitter space on a Sunday night, set pieces have been a bugbear for me this season, especially throw-ins, really. We just don't seem to have any sort of idea on what we're doing, and it's frustrating. Watching when, just kind of, for me, if there's no options, if no one's moving, throw it down the line, let somebody get a flick on. But yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. First message has come through. Hi, Joshua. Hope you're okay. Thanks for messaging in. Excuse me. Has the international break come at the wrong time for us? I wouldn't say it's the wrong time. I think it's the right time for us, if I'm honest. I think it's the right time. We've got a few injuries that are happening for us at the moment. And I think that when we come back after the international break, I think we might be in a stronger position. So I don't think it's come at the wrong time. I think it's come at the right time. We've obviously, I think Sheaf's quite close. We believe that Callum O'Hare's quite close. And I'll move on to Callum in a minute. Is one of my things that I want to talk about is Callum O'Hare. We've got Casey to come back. Casey hasn't been included in the Jamaica squad, I don't think, like Joel has. So I don't know whether he may have a little bit longer to come back, because I would imagine that if he is there, then his right. Glenn's just hello, Glenn. Thanks for coming on, mate. Glenn's just asked, who's your favourite member of the All Things Sky Blue team? I don't have favourites. Just like my kids, I don't have favourites. That's a horrible question. Don't ask me that. But like I said, I don't have favourites. Thanks for the question anyway, Glenn. I hope you're very well. Just going to try some, actually. This is the first time I'm doing it on here, guys, that we're live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. So it's unusual. Just going to try something. There you go. There's Glenn's comment on Facebook. Who's your favourite member of the All Things Sky Blue team? So I can hide that as well. Well, that's nice. What was I saying? Yeah, so we've got a few people to come back, like I said, and I just think that we're in a stronger position to answer your question about if it's come at the right time or wrong time for us. I think it's good. I think we needed it, to be fair. Josh has also said next away game. I was hoping to get to Bristol, which is a week on Saturday, but I can't get to that one. Obviously, midweek games are a little bit harder for me to get to with getting out of work and stuff, so I can't always do that in midweek. So if I have a quick look at who we've got next. Where am I going? There we go. So we've got Bristol City. Then we've got Rotherham, which I can't get to. And then we're at home against West Brom. So I might, to answer your question, hopefully might be Preston, which is the 4th of November. So it will fall quite nicely because obviously, again, it comes after payday and stuff as well. So I might be able to get to that one. So Preston hopefully might be my next away day, but we'll have to wait and see on that one because I have got my eldest 2 girls' birthdays coming at the end of November as well. So we'll have to wait and see. I might not be able to afford it. Josh has put another question. Thanks, Josh. Favourite ever Coventry City season? Core blimey. Coventry City season. Well, you've got the 87 where obviously we went to Wembley. You've got you've got the good teams, Robbie Keane, Hadji, McAllister, people like that. But I would have to go for the one just gone to get to the playoff. To get to the playoffs and nearly, one step away from Wembley, would probably have to go down as one of my favourite ones. In all honesty, is last season. Glenn's come on and said, "An All Things Sky Blue team away day in 2024 sounds good. Pencil me in for that one." Thank you very much for that one. Darren Cap. Hiya, Darren. I hope you're okay, mate. Thanks for messaging in. Where do you think we need to sign players and who would you like? Well, January transfer window was one of the things that I was going to talk about. And there's, somebody did on I think it was Coventry Live, midfielder priority, Callum O'Hare contract, and maybe getting the people that are surplus to requirements out. It's we definitely need a midfielder. I probably think that we need another striker. Now, I know Tavares is coming back, but I think when he comes back, he may be better being shipped out for a loan, in all honesty, for 6 months to maybe get him back up to speed of what we need. So I think we may need reinforcements in the up front position. Definitely signing Callum O'Hare on a new deal has got to be up there with one of the priorities as well. A couple of these are coming in thick and fast now. Thank you very much to everybody that is messaging in. But yeah, I would say, Darren, to answer your question, mate, probably midfielder and probably another striker. So yeah, I think them. Sky Blue Sam, good evening, Sky Blue Sam. I hope you're okay. Is Latty better in midfield or defence? I'm going to say midfield because I just think he protects the back three very, very well. He's defensively astute. He's very intelligent in what he does, but when he gets the ball, he goes forward and he runs, and that's what they don't like. And he's strong, and like I said, he's intelligent. For me, Latty can play anywhere. I love the guy. For me, so far, player of the season. But to answer your question, better in midfield, personally. Is Casey Palmer underrated? Yeah, I think he is a little bit. This is from Joshua Shale. Thanks, Josh. I think he is a little bit. But he has to stay away from injuries, because at the moment he is picking up little knocks, and just like Godden was last year and the year before. He's picking up these little knocks which are keeping him out for maybe 3 or 4 games, and then he's having to get his fitness back in. And he was only really playing 60 minutes anyway. 60, 65 minutes, maybe 70. I don't think he played many 90-minute games. But with the bench that we've got, with Tats there and maybe Callum coming back as well, Jamie Allen, has come back and been tremendous, really, since he's been back. He's brought a kind of new lease of life into that midfield. So, but Casey Palmer, yeah, I think he is a little bit underrated, but he's got to start staying a little bit fitter to make sure that he is where he needs to be. We live and die in these towns. Thank you very much for coming on. I think once we have Van Eric, Sheaf and O'Hare or Palmer all in the same starting lineup, that's when we'll start to see more goals from whoever is the front 1 to our Play Up Sky Blues. I think you're right in that one. I think O'Hare coming back, and Sheaf. Sheaf has been a miss. But if we play Latty in midfield more, I don't think we'll miss Sheaf as much. But again, it's where you play Latty, really, because at the minute Thomas is making the odd few mistakes. I know his ratings have been really, really high. But yeah, it's. I've got a question for you. Actually, we live and die in these towns. What's your real name, if you don't mind? Because we've been wondering what your name is. Under average Cov fan, thank you very much. Thoughts on the lack of 3 p.m. Saturday games in 2023 at home so far? Yeah, look, I think with that question, you can take it 2 ways. I think it's annoying for the fans because we want to be up there, at 3 o'clock and having the games and not have to worry about, midweek fixtures, whether it's a Monday or a Sunday or a Friday. It's frustrating, but then they want to put Coventry on Sky, which is a good thing. It's given us coverage. So I think that it's a bit of a two-way thing, really. Just because it's good that we're on Sky, it's good that we're getting the coverage, but again, it's annoying for the season ticket holders, like myself and like probably you are as well. It's frustrating, especially if it's a Monday night game. Really, Fridays aren't too bad, I suppose, but a Monday night game, you just got back to work potentially, and then you've got work on the Tuesday, where it's a Friday. You haven't necessarily, everybody's got work on the Saturday, so it's a hard one to call. It's frustrating, probably, really more than anything. Thank you very much for your question. I've gone past a few. Oh no, we haven't. Sorry. Darraj Singh, thank you very much, Darraj. I hope you're okay, buddy. I probably wouldn't go to Preston away because we never beat them. And do you think we'll stay unbeaten at home? And we need Callum O'Hare and Ben Sheaf when we do. When do you think they'll be back? I think from reports that I've seen so far, I think Sheaf's going to be back after the international break. Callum might be back, might not be. As in terms of staying unbeaten, I would like to think so. I think we've got a good enough squad. People that listen to the Twitter space will know that I think we're a top 8 side, and we should be pushing definitely for that top 6. You know, I think we're past now with the squad that we've got. When we're all fit, we're definitely a top 8 side, no matter what. I think not a top 10 anymore, a top 8, and we can definitely should be in that top 6. Maybe even pushing for that second place, you know. But look, not taking anything away from Leicester and Ipswich at the moment because they're flying. But yeah, look, with the unbeaten at home may eventually go. Hopefully it doesn't, but it may eventually go. I don't think it's anything to worry about if it does go. You know, and look, I know we don't probably win at Preston because they are a bit of a bogey side, but you could say the same for Norwich, and you know, when we went all over them. Preston at the moment are leaking goals for fun. You know, just a fly there. Sorry. You know, Preston are leaking goals for fun. So I think Preston are doable, and we've got to beat them eventually. So hopefully it's if I can get there, then hopefully it's that game. That would be quite nice. Sky Blue Sam again. Thank you very much, Sky Blue Sam. Jess Bosch from William 2 in Holland in January, and he's got the. I'll get that one up for you. I'll put that one up. Jess Bosch from Willem in Holland signed in January. I believe he's had 6 months left on his contract as well in January, so he can sign for or talk to clubs anyway. But whether we sign him or not, I don't know. You might be more in the know than I am. But we'll have to wait and see. Hi, Joseph O'Neill. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Hope you're well. Which central midfielder should Robbins go for, in your opinion? It's hard, really. I don't particularly like the January transfer window, just because, you know, there's no one of real note, if you like, that's available. You know, if that Jesse Bosch is available, then, you know, he might turn out to be a great signing. Whether he can come in January, I don't know, or whether we just sign him and then he comes in the summer. We'll have to wait and see. But you've got the likes of, again, I'm mentioning Barnsley players, Callum Styles, and I know that there's somebody else quite good there as well. But, you know, there's a few. I haven't done my research on who's available, Joseph, so I apologise for that, buddy. But yeah, Jesse Bosch, Callum Styles, there might be somebody that is available that I just can't think of at the moment. But we'll have to wait and see. But thank you very much for your question, buddy. Much appreciated. If you don't already, please like and subscribe to our YouTube page as well. There's some good content on there. We do previews, and I do a live footage from inside the anecdote where we're partnered with as well on a Saturday or match day. Would you, under average Cov fan, said, would you start Wright or Sims at Bristol City? At the moment, I'll start Sims over Wright, just because I feel that he's a better impact player, and if I'm honest, I wasn't overly impressed by his work rate the other day on Saturday. I was a little bit frustrated with him, really, and Sims, to be fair. But Sims, it seems to be getting better with every game. So I would start Sims and Godden for me up front probably, and then Wright as an impact, because I think at the moment when he comes on, he is chomping at the bit a little bit more, and yeah, I think he'll be better. Glenn, hi Glenn again. Jess Bosch from Holland and Callum Styles from Barnsley seem to be the two names doing the rounds. Yeah, they do. Like I said, they're the ones that I've heard as well. Whether they're going to sign in January, or like I said, whether they sign in January but they come in the summer, we'll have to wait and see. Ian Small, evening Ian. Hope you're okay, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Josh has said again, excuse me, Josh has said, in the Ben Wilson and Brad Collins debate now, dead in the water. Yes, I think it is. At the moment, again, you know, I know Ben's had a few mistakes and stuff over the time. I know I've been a little bit critical of him at the start of the season, and maybe a call for Brad Collins coming in. But the past few games, I think with some of the saves that he's made, have been tremendous. You know, obviously the one, I think it was QPR that, you know, was out of this world really, and obviously we went on and won that convincingly because of our second half performance. But that, you know, that save was brilliant. So I can't get rid of Ben Wilson just yet, in all honesty. So yeah, it probably is. Excuse me. So we live and die in these towns. I agree with you, Stuart. Latty in midfield, defensive midfield is a lot more effective than he is at right wing back. He is good in right wing back, but even better in that central midfield role. Yeah, if I'm honest, I would quite like to see Latty and Sheaf in that central midfield role. I think that could work quite well together, really. And one can go, one can sit, and it doesn't really matter who does that. I think they're both good on the ball. They can both got an eye for a pass. So yeah, I would quite like to see that. And then you can, you even maybe play a box midfield and play Sims up front on his own. Maybe that's a route that we can possibly go down, with maybe having until Callum's back, having Sakamoto and Allen just in front of Latty and Sheaf. I think that could be quite good, to be fair. That would be quite nice. Sky Blue Sam, thank you, Sky Blue Sam. If you could interview one current player for our All Things Sky Blue podcast, who and why? Well, the honest answer is I can answer that straight away. I don't have to think about that. That would be Milan, because we sponsor him, and I think that would be quite nice. That I could interview who we sponsor. That would be really lovely. So that's why, and that's who. So I didn't have to think about that one too much. Sky Blue Sam again. Sheaf told fans on Saturday he'll be back for Bristol City. Brilliant, fantastic. Can't wait for him to come back. Yep, looking forward to him to come back. I hope that's true. Will Cov finish above Birmingham City? That's from Sky Blue fan Sam as well. Yes. We will. They have had a good start to the season, but they've just got rid of Eustace, which I think is a stupid mistake, personally. I don't think Rooney is going to come in and do wonders, and I can see him starting slipping down the table. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Darrell Raj Singh again. Hiya, buddy. Thank you very much again for your questions coming in. Again, thick and fast. I will try and get through them all, obviously. How many points out of Bristol City, Rotherham and West Brom do you think the squad, and do you think the squad is clicking? Don't think they're clicking just yet. I don't think Robbins has found his starting 11, but it's getting there, especially with players coming back. Bristol City and Rotherham and West Brom, I think you've got to be looking at a minimum of 7 points, I think, minimum. We should be beating Bristol City and Rotherham. It will be good to get a draw at West Brom because they are a tough side. So, yeah, minimum of 7 points for me. And the other one, I'm not sure. Ian Small, hi Ian. I hope you're well again, buddy. Thank you very much. Rumours on Styles. Yeah, I've heard a few rumours on Styles that we might be back in for him, whether that's January again or whether the summer. I don't know. Under average Cov fan has this question: start, sub, sell, Bidwell, Tavares, and more. I would probably start Bidwell, sub Tavares, and unfortunately sell more, just because he's fallen down the pecking order of us, because we've got Collins and obviously Wilson are number one. Thank you very much for your question. Dalraja Games 24/7. How many points out of Bristol City, Rotherham and West Brom? Yeah, like I just said, minimum of about 7 points for me. He's also said, do you think the squad is clicking? No, not quite yet, but I think we might be getting there. Luca Cornell is the lad at Barnsley that Brando raves on about in our spaces. Yeah, I think that was him as well, to be fair. So yeah. Mark Smith, hi Mark. I hope you're okay. Thank you very much for coming on. Favorite Cov match this year so far? Favorite Cov match of the year so far? That's a difficult one. You know what? I'm probably going to go for the QPR game just because of our second half performance. Close would be Middlesbrough, obviously, because we were at home and we beat them 3-0 as well. But for me, the second half performance of that showed us starting to click again and gel as a team. And I just wish that we'd kicked on a little bit more from that. But I'll have to go QPR for that one. Thank you very much for your question. Under average COD fan, I'd start Sims as he scored twice at Bristol City last season for Sunderland. Yeah, I think he scored against Norwich though for Sunderland as well. It's a hard one. It's a hard one, but I would start Sims anyway, to be fair, regardless of whether he scored for Sunderland. You know, he started off quite well for Sunderland. He hasn't done the same for us, but hopefully as he grows into the side, he'll get better, which he is anyway. He's showing that he's getting better. Sky Blue Sam, Styles great signing as covers, wing back and also midfielders as well. Yeah, with Styles again, you know, he's very versatile, isn't he? You know, I think all our signings this season seem to be very versatile and they can play in a number of positions. You know, you've got Latti, you've got Sakamoto, you've probably got Binks that could play in midfield as well. You know, and I think De Silva can play centre-back. He has played centre-back, or he can play on the right-hand side as well. So he would fit into the side of being able to cover a few positions, which would be quite good for us as well. Ryan Small, Reece Small, hiya, evening all is said. Good evening, I hope you're well. Thank you very much for coming on. Glenn said, why do you think Moore hasn't moved on? Probably because he wants a number one slot somewhere, maybe, and the right team just hasn't been out there yet. I would probably say that just the right team hasn't come yet to where he can be number one, because I think that's what he wants. He doesn't want to sit on the bench. He does want that number one shirt. Joshua Shale, thanks, Josh. What was Highfield Road like? Some of us are too young to remember. Well, it was a beautiful little stadium. You know, obviously I could walk to it from my house. You know, and obviously, you know, back in the day, you could stand on one side. You know, you had all standing before it became all seater stadiums and things like that. And you know, it was just a terrific atmosphere. You know, and again, but to be fair, look, I know the Rico and now the CBS, you know, hasn't necessarily felt like home for a while. But I think it's getting there. I think it's definitely getting there. You know, the more seasons that go on, especially under Doug King now, with what he's doing, he's making it feel a lot more like home. And because we're playing well and it's being filled out, you know, most games, I think it is starting to feel a little bit more like home. I just wish we fully owned it, so it was completely ours and we didn't rent. But I think this is as close at the moment as home as we've had in a long, long time. Probably since Highfield Road. Glenn has said, Joshua, some of us are old enough to remember. Yeah. We live and die in these towns. Some fans, after last season's playoff final, have very high expectations for this season. For me, this season is more of a transition season. Anywhere above 12th will be a successful season. Yeah, that's a positive way to look at it, buddy. It's... yeah, I get it. I get why some people are not expecting, the earth. But I just think with the squad that we've got, I know we've lost 2 players, but I've said it many times. We've got to put that behind us. We've got. I think with me personally, with everybody fit, we have a better squad than last season. So there's no reason why we can't push. And I still feel that we're a top 8 side. And we can definitely get into that playoff. If we finish 10th, look, it's not a disappointing season, because again, we have had a lot of ins and outs. But for me, we should be finishing a little bit higher. If it's if we finish 8th, 7th, I am happy with that. Don't get me wrong, but we should be in that mix for the playoff, to be fair. Mark Smith has answered Josh. Joshua Sale, great atmosphere, tight ground. It was home. Yeah, totally agree. Glenn said, biggest disappointment of the season so far. Biggest disappointment. Not beating Leicester first game of the season when we were fully in command of it and we should have done it really. We should have beat them. That's probably the biggest disappointment, not winning that first game at their ground, and we were dominant against a Premier League side because that's what they are. They're a Premier League side, and we went toe to toe with them, and we should have won really. But yeah. Mark Smith, Borough away playoff final was mine. What a night out. Oh, mate, I remember it. It was brilliant. The playoff final, absolutely fantastic. And everything about it, the way that we were singing for 15 minutes, twist and shout, we scored, and then we did the same again afterwards. It was a brilliant night out, and I'm sure if I could guarantee, right, that we would win the playoff final, I would have a playoff final over finishing first or second. Give me the playoff final, but only if I could guarantee a win. I know that's easy to say, but yeah. Glenn said, do you think O'Hare coming back in will help Sims and Wright score goals? Yeah, I think he'll look. We know how good O'Hare is on his day. We know that he can pass a ball. His work rate is second to none, and I think his link-up play with everybody is tremendous. So yeah, I think it will be a. I think it will be a big help. Biggest surprise this season has got to be. Do you mean team-wise, Sky Blue Sam? I think I'm gonna say Ipswich. I didn't think that they would do what they're doing, and they are, and they don't seem to be stopping. So Ipswich are the biggest surprise this season for me, if that's what you mean. We live and die in these towns. Take me home to Highfield Road. Yeah, definitely. But like I said, the CBS is slowly, I feel, starting to be a little bit more like home. I don't know whether you guys agree or not. Under average Cov fan, Binks or Kitchen? Wow. You know what? I'm probably going to go Kitchen just because we own him and he's not a loan signing. Nothing other than that, really. I think they're very close. in their ability and how they play. Probably haven't seen enough of Kitchen, really. But Kitchen's one of our own now, isn't he? We've signed him for a lot of money. And Binks is only on loan, so I'd have to go Kitchen for that one. Glenn said, Ian Small, Glenn Watkins, Shaw 2. He might be answering one of the others. Sorry, mate. We live and die in these towns. Have you seen the Cov fans buying Cov curtains for their kids online and who are receiving Huddersfield curtains in Cov packages? No, I haven't. I didn't even hear about that one, buddy. That's a new one on me. Ian said, Glenn Watkins always trusts fans over media. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that one. Glenn said, I'd go Sims, as I feel Wright hasn't had the opportunities that Sims has. Yeah, but when you look at it, they're both on 2 goals each. Sims just come in 2 games, but they're on 2 goals each. They're on the same. It's hard to choose. But I feel at the moment that Wright's off the bench having a bigger impact than Sims is off the bench. So I would start Sims. Ian Small, Glenn Watkin, great if they come. Yes, I think obviously I think they're talking about they're having a little conversation to themselves there as well. Ian Small again, Joshua 87. Joshua Shale, overrated in my opinion. Oh, that's talking about Casey Palmer. Mark Smith, QPR. What's your top 3 Cov managers in your living memory? Well, obviously Mark Robbins is number 1. Number 2, I'm probably going to say, and some might disagree with me on this one, but I'm going to say Ian Dowie, just because he took us to United in the Cup and we beat them with Michael Misford. So that's 2. And you won a 3rd one, didn't you? Let's go for Big Ron Atkinson, because he, if I remember rightly, I don't think he did too bad. And we had some good players as well. So I'm going to go Big Ron Atkinson. Obviously Sillett and George Curtis were up there as well. Yeah, I get that. Because of the they had some. Glenn Watkins said Robbins, Phil Neal, and Strachan. I wouldn't necessarily say Strachan because he did take us down. Sillett, I'd say Sillett as well. I know I've given you 4 there. All right, take Ian Dowie out and put Sillett in. Sillett and Curtis. That's what I would do. So yeah, thank you. We live and die in these towns. I know De Silva is a decent player, but I'm slightly shocked at how phased out Bidwell has been so far this season, to be fair. Yeah, the weird thing is, even when De Silva's coming off, he could have put Bidwell on the other day, but he didn't. He just switched Sakamoto over to the left when he brought Milan on. So I am a little bit surprised that he hasn't played more, considering that he was he was ever present last season and we got to the playoff final. I am a little bit surprised that he, when he's made changes. But as we know, Robbins wants attack-minded wing backs. That's why he bought them in. And I think maybe Bidwell's not that attacking, which we've seen. So yeah. Joshua James, Ayara's best position. Well, look, he shows glimpses that he can play the number 10 really well and central midfield really well. But it's glimpses. I'm getting a little bit of vibes of Norton Cuffy last season, where for 10, 15 minutes he's been absolutely playable and he's brilliant. But for the other, 70, 80 minutes, he flatters to deceive, and I'm kind of getting that sort of vibe off in it, if I'm all honesty. I don't know his best position, to answer your question. So I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to be able to tell you. But to play in that central midfield role, I need to see more work rate out of him. And to play in that number 10 role, we need to see that link-up play between midfield and striker. And like I said, he does it for about 10, 15 minutes or so. But he's got to do it more consistently. I said that about Norton Cuffy being that right wing-back last season. And, Robbins kept on playing him in that wing-back position, mainly because we didn't really have anybody else, to be fair. But it's a tough call to make. Look, I'm not the manager. I'm not a football manager. Apart from an FPL, by the way, if anybody wants to ask me questions on FPL, I'm willing and open to them as well. But no, I don't know his best position, mate, in all honesty. I hope that answers your question a little bit there. Glenn Watkin, what former player would you like to get on All Things Sky Blue podcast? I'd love to get Robbie Keane, in all honesty. If you can try and make that happen, Glenn or Mark, if you're listening. I'd love Robbie Keane. He was one of my all-time favourite players. I would have loved, obviously, Cyril Regis as well, but obviously he's passed away. I'd love Robbie Keane if we could ever get him. It'd be brilliant. I'd love to speak to him about his time with us. Mark Smith, do you think that Big Vic leaving has benefited Matty Godden this season? I think it's it's taken the limelight a little bit more, just because he is our top goal scorer on 5. I think it's 5 goals he's scored. So I think it has benefited him a bit. But last season when we had Vic, Godden picked up niggling injuries. I would have loved to see them together a bit more, because I think we would have seen the best out of both of them, in all honesty. But we didn't have, we didn't necessarily have the reinforcements either off the bench, that he could play necessarily to him, because if one did get injured, then you're still only playing with one up front anyway. So I think he was just rotating them a little bit more. But Vic was special. We know that. But I would like to have seen him a bit more. But yeah, Big Vic leaving has probably benefited Matty, just because he's probably the main guy, and he has been, that's why he's top goal scorer. Joshua, thoughts on not sitting in your allocated seat for away games? Look, I've heard this before, and as long as families are together and disabled people have got the right places for them, I'm not really bothered. As long as you're with the people that you want to be with, and no one's being funny about it. And like I said, women, children, families are together and they need to do what they need to do. Then everybody else can just sit kind of where they like. So I'm not really bothered, as long as families and kids and disabled people are being looked after. Anybody else can sit where they like, really. But like I said, as long as it's they're with who they want to be with. We live and die in these towns. In that 10 role, Ayari is better for me. He gets lost in that central midfield role. Yeah, I just don't think his work rate's there yet. I want to see more for somebody that's come from Brighton and has been hyped up quite a lot. I want to see him work a little bit more for me personally. Under average Cov fan, what's your best midfield three if everyone's fit? Best midfield three if everyone's fit. I'm gonna assume that Latty is going to be playing as a centre back and not in midfield. So in that case, for me, it would be Sheaf, O'Hare, Palmer, and Palmer being fit as well. If not, I'd probably bring maybe IRE in or Allen. I'm just trying to think if I've actually forgotten anybody. Kelly, no. Eccles, no. No, but if you're going to move Latty in midfield, then I would have Latty, Sheaf, and O'Hare probably, just because at the minute Palmer can't stay fit. What's your FPL team? Right, so for game, I tell you what. Then this is from Sky Blue Fan. Sky Blue Sam. Right, so my FPL team. At the moment, this is for game week 9. And I have got Leno in goal, Udogie, Trippier, Cash as my back three, Son, Diaby, Douglas Luiz, and Salah. And up front, I've got Haaland, Wissa, and Alvarez. That's my starting lineup at the moment. Things may change, but I'm not sure at the moment. Thank you very much for asking, Sky Blue Sam. Cov Hooligans, hi Cov Hooligans. Hope you're well. I'm going Rotherham. Good lad. I would like to go, but it's just I just can't get out of work early enough to be able to travel. I went when it was the playoff final and stuff. I booked holiday and things like that to go, but at the moment I'm not going. But fair play to you. Much respect and safe journey when you do go. And I hope it's not too late when you get back as well. Glenn said, are you surprised by how well Vic and Hamer are doing at new clubs? No, not particularly. I think they're both very adept. I think Vic should have gone to the Premier League, to be fair, to see how he could fare in the Premier League. But it's just, I think Sporting's just a stepping stone until he gets there. I think he will get there eventually. I know he would suit a lot of clubs with the way he plays. He scores goals. He's strong. He's quick. He's got everything to offer. Hamer, no. Again, we know Hamer's talents. Even though when they lost the other day, when they got hammered by Newcastle, he did get lost a little bit in that game. But every Sheffield United player did as well, to be fair. But I'm not surprised. They're both quality players, and I don't think anybody would disagree with how well they're doing. Cov Hooligans, got my tickets for Rotherham. Good lad. Who do you want in the FA Cup under average Cov fan? Who do I want in the FA Cup? You know what, right? I'd like Wrexham, and I would like to do them. I don't want them to come here again thinking that they can walk all over us again. So I would quite like Wrexham to come back and us to absolutely wipe the floor with them, to really make them be quiet and realise that we were having an off day that day, because we nearly come back. But yeah, I'm going to go for Wrexham. Sky Blue Sound, which teams in the Championship will finish above Cov? I'm going to go Leicester. Who else is up there? Probably. No, I think Ipswich will fall away. Leicester. I'm just trying to think who else is up there. God Almighty. Excuse me 1 second. I'm just gonna go back to Saturday. Okay, so Leicester probably Leeds. Southampton, Swansea is starting to climb the table again, and they've got Jerry Yates, who I was very impressed with, and I wish we actually went forward and got them. And I don't see many others, to be fair. Maybe Sunderland, maybe Ipswich, but I still feel that we've got a good enough side to get up there. Really. You've got big teams like Watford and Stoke, Middlesbrough. They're making a strong. They've started to turn the corner a little bit, and you've got Norwich. Anybody can beat anybody in this league. It's so hard to win games. So to draw them, need to start doing stuff. Joshua, are you a fan of Joel Latibaudiere? Massive. People that, listen to our Twitter space, people that hear me talk and hear me chat and things will know that I'm a big Latibaudiere fan. I think he's brilliant. Cov Hooligans, Haji Wright and Sakamoto need to do better. Yeah, possibly. Again, Sakamoto played well at the weekend. Haji Wright, for me, again, still needed to do more. We live and die in these towns. That day the lads went bowling was for them to form a bond. I think that was great for the club to do. That was one of the key things players were lacking from last season, was that togetherness. Yeah, there did seem it to be a little bit of a non-togetherness feel about it, but the second half of QPR was important, and I think we'll get together more, and you'll start seeing a more togetherness, I think, in terms of that. Glenn's asked, Jack Burrows or Latibaudiere, who do you like more? You're asking horrible questions, aren't you, Glenn, tonight? I'm going to go for just Joel, just Latibaudiere, I think, Lati. Just again, because he's playing regular in our team, and Jack's gone out and got experience. I can't wait for Jack to come back. I love him to bits, and I think he's a great player, and I think he'll be our right back or left back. Maybe it will definitely be pushing both them two, really, I think. But yeah, at the minute, I would have to say Lati, because he's a constant in our side and should be playing every single game. Glenn said, I'm going Lati, Sheaf, and then O'Hare. I presume you're talking about the best three midfielders that we've got. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Who do you want to start up front against Bristol City? Yeah, I have mentioned this one already, Cov Hooligans. Thanks for the question, though. I would probably say Godden and Sims, just because I think when Haji Wright comes on, he's better impact player than Sims coming on off the bench. So Godden and Sims for me. Mark said Lati, Sheaf and Ayari with Karen Hare in the number 10. Yeah, again, Ayari needs to show more for me. Russ Watkin, hello Russ, I hope you're well, buddy. 10 out of 10, good viewing. Thank you very much. George Jenkins, thank you very much. We are clearly short of a central midfielder who would be your first target in January. Obviously, the transfer window is a way is a way away, but we clearly need reinforcements. Yeah, we've mentioned a few of them, and we've said Jesse Bosch from William 2 and Callum Styles being the main ones that we've been linked with at the moment. But I'm sure as we get closer, some more might come out of the woodwork. You might see some more loan signings, from Premier League clubs that might come in. We'll have to wait and see. Top 3 all-time Cov goalkeepers in your living memory. Oh my God. Oggy, Headman, and I'm going to go Wilson as well. They're my 3. I've probably missed maybe 1 or 2 others, but I'm going to go Oggy, Headman, and Wilson. Robbie Watson, good evening, Robbie. Hope you're okay. Oggy, Blythe, and Glazier. They're good ones as well. Obviously, that's your time. Oggy was around for a long, long time, so most people, I think, would say Oggy. But Blythe and Glazier were a little bit before my time. Mark Smith, not Wrexham in the FA Cup. Sky Blue Sam, love to get Villa. Yeah. The thing with Villa, though, is even their reserve side's a really good side, isn't it? We live and die in these towns. Thoughts on this, Stu? Sheffield United get relegated this season. Leicester get promoted. Since he still lives nearby, can you see a move to Leicester on the cards for him? Are you talking about Hamer? Maybe Leicester go for him. He'd do a job. He'd do a job in most promoted sides, to be fair. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Really, I'm hoping that we'll go up anyway. We live and die in these towns, to be fair. Brandon Hayes, thank you very much, Brandon, for coming on. Much appreciated. Jesse Boss, Lati Sheaf, new midfield in January. I hope you're right. I hope you know more than I do. Max Bird better than Styles, and so is Luca Cornell. I'm going to... Brandon, are you Brando by any chance on Twitter? Because I know you like Luca Connell. You might not be. I might get mixed up. But let me know, please. Max Bird. I like Max Bird as well, to be fair. He wouldn't be a bad shout. Danny S. White, favourite keepers in your top 3. Glenn said, I forgot Westwood. Sorry, I knew I missed one. Westwood, Oggy, and Wilson. We'll get Luton. Just watch it in the FA Cup. Yeah, Seeley, Foggy, Phelan. Yeah, Phelan. Mark Smith, Oggy, Headman, and Westwood. Glenn said, I'm just trying to catch up with them. Hiya, Brando. You okay, mate? Glenn Watkin or Sheffield United and Hamer comes back to us in an FA Cup. Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Hamer coming back. I could see that now. I could see that. Robbie Watson, thanks, Robbie. Hope you're okay. Mr. King needs to spend some of his own cash in January, not just the money generated from the big 2 sold. Don't mention names anymore. LOL, ex-players. Yeah, I know. But people are asking me, so I've got to answer the question. But I do want to move on. I don't want to sort of mention any old names anymore. I know you're right. Totally agree. In terms of his own cash, has he spent some of his own cash and he's saving some of the other money for January or next summer? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But a lot of these players that we've bought, have been bought on long contracts, haven't they? 3-4 year deals, which means they're going to be with us for hopefully a while to go, and hopefully by that point we'll have a really, really good squad and side. Right, so we've been an hour. Thank you very much for coming on. Much appreciated for those guys that have answered questions and asked questions. Just before we go, Brandon Hayes, why are people giving Wright and Sims so much shit? We've only played them 75 minutes together. Yeah, I get it. I get that they haven't had a lot of time together, and they do need time to link up and get that. I get that, but I don't think you can take Godden out the side just yet. So, Skyblue Sam, great show. Lines 361. I'm an hour too late. Sorry, buddy. We do this show every other week, so I won't be doing one next week, but it will be the week after. Probably after the game, to be fair. The day after the game. So whatever day we're playing on, Rodham's a Tuesday, I think. So I'll do it on the Wednesday. Or if we play on the Wednesday, I'll do it on the Tuesday. So we do these every other week. Again, you can see down on the ticker where you can find us. We are partnered with The Anecdote. It's All Things Sky Blue on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We are on YouTube as well. There is some good content on there, so please go and like and subscribe if you don't already. And all I can say is thank you very much for those who have commented and given me questions. Much appreciated. And thank you very much. Until next time, play up Sky Blues.